by your command.
Hail, everyone. Welcome to Get Down with Dave C. And as always, my trusty companion, JT Kirk.
Hail. Good evening. How are you?
I'm doing okay, man. This week is like, once again, it's like Tuesday, and I'm like, man, better do my thumbnail and put out something tomorrow.
Yeah.
I gotta do a comic book.
Right. Well, and
you know me, I'm putting out eight videos a day on YouTube.
well, and this run is so good. I mean, even that week where you couldn't do it, I was like, Dave, we can't go a week without Black Panther. Can't do it, man. Like, you got me, Jones, and I'm glad we can do this once a week instead of waiting a month for the next one, right?
Yeah, yeah, and we learned how to do that premiere thing so that if I'm out of town, or if I'm unable to do it, or you can't do it, or whatever.
You got a hurricane rolling in on you or something, and you need to get it done and go.
And
something
I think
like that, right?
Yeah, and I think I saw Dadman post something about out west. There was a hurricane forming, or it looked like one. I don't know. I was I saw that you liked a thing calling out a fake news on the old X there. And,
I did, and I requested a community note too.
Yeah, and I did that on something else that was a blatant lie about this dude who put out there. It was like 2016 thing, and they just used his picture, and it was completely fake. But then I had to do my phone number and all kinds of stuff with them, and it jacked up my whole X feed. And I was like, that's fine, because I'm really only on their messages and when I'm doing my other stuff during the daytime, just to have it up there, right? So
right.
But yeah, the thing was like a picture from a movie, and the funny thing is, somebody in the replies said, "Is this a joke or is this from a movie?" And I went like, "I think it really is. Let me look into that."
They're counting on it. Like, their actual audience has never seen a Tom Clancy film, and that they can get away with just posting that, which is pretty funny. But also, it is genuinely damaging. I just would like to point out that a bunch of people with small arms are not going to deal the United States Navy and L.
And even if they
throw that out there,
and even if something, God forbid, something like that would happen, because the repercussions would be even worse, right? And not to mention what would happen to our people for just trying to have a safe form of trade route.
Right.
In this day and age.
If you were to do what was depicted in that fake picture, the territory in question would go from a desert to a moon testing range for rovers.
It'd be a parking lot.
Yeah, pretty much. So,
but speaking of deserts, what a good segue, JT. I don't know if you meant to do that or not, but see, this is why I'm always.
I'll keep that one to myself,
because you're so smart. Whether you know it or not, I know you always back check on me, but I always prove that you were right.
Well, that just goes back to you picking a good guy to back you up, right? I mean, that goes to your strength then too.
Yeah, but backing somebody up also has to be based on fact and reality, doesn't it?
Sure. I mean,
for the most part.
I'll feel you can feel vindicated on that. Okay.
I do, because what we have here is, because you remember you said the word desert, right?
Yes.
And folks, we are going to talk about this comic, and I am going to write down. I'm going to do something I haven't done. I'm going to write down your letter grade for this. Okay. And then I'm going to have a second letter grade for this, just in case I'm, absolutely wrong. But I'm going to point out
a magic trick where you like.
No, I'm gonna show it that I'm writing down on this napkin. Okay, I'm gonna write that. I'm gonna write it here.
Folks, I'm not convinced that this isn't a magic trick that Dave's got, like some kind of magic up his sleeve.
There. Okay, I wrote two things down in blue so you can see it. Okay. Right.
You got a Star Wars shirt going on there too, don't you?
Yeah, it's
Darth Maul, Darth Vader,
I'm a Flash,
the Emperor.
right? Flash Gordon, the 1980 movie fan. Flash is cool, the DC character. But I'm also a Queen fan as well. Highlander, which is phenomenal. Then Flash, and then Queen in general, right?
Yep.
Because my music tastes go all over the place. It can go from Pavarotti to Amon Amarth. Right?
Oh yeah, it's good to have an eclectic mix like that. So
country is only outlaw country, but other than that, I'm not big on the country.
No,
old school rap. Haven't bought any rap in a long time, but some of it's just not good.
I haven't gotten any since they stopped talking positively about Donald Trump. So that tells you it's probably pretty old.
Yeah. So I'm going to go out on a limb on this one because I think it would be fun to try to guess your letter score. But I can't show you because then you'd be
sure.
You'd be partial.
Sure.
So, anyway, let me stop my screen here. Oh, so sorry.
If you pick my grade, I'm going to be really freaked out. Anyway.
I think, I mean, it's within 4, right?
Yeah. Right. 1 out of 4.
Or a half out of 5. So,
yeah.
So this was the Queen Bad Guys. You remember Queen did the cover album and the shirt? Yeah. So that's why I got it. Because it's
awesome.
Cool. And it's like that. So, oh, I got to share my screen. There's a new button here on StreamYard as well that lets you share.
Engineers always love changing things, huh?
They're always changing stuff, man. Kind of like that Fortnite quest menu. It's just ridiculous.
You know, I would like to say this about StreamYards. I wish they would let you be in one of 2 development rings, like a beta tester ring and a stable tester ring. So that way you don't just get changes and things moving around all the time. So you could just get your setup in and it stays like that for a long time. Anyway, let's see here. So we want to do a recap, right?
Yep.
From last week.
Yeah. Do you want to do that or?
Then I am trying to remember.
So we had a bunch of new characters that
we did.
Either the nuclear or tribal family of T'Challa.
Yes.
And they showed up in Wakanda because old boy turned into a purple monster.
Right.
And he's rampaging around, right?
Yes.
And they tried to stop him and they can't stop him and blah, blah, blah. So these guys here, the one to the left is the financier guy. The one, the little, that must be a Tony, the little guy, the little nerdy guy kid with the blue hair here. And the tall dude here in the red is the race car driver. We don't get to see the lady in this picture. Although they were pretty mean to her. But Kirby got me again, dude. And I'll try to get back to it. I'm sure I won't miss it when I get to it. But anyway, this is the old guy with the cool eyebrows, you know, Santa Claus eyebrows. And meanwhile,
T'Challa picked up those 2 stranded Sicilian gentlemen.
Originally picked them up,
yeah. And then they got in a firefight in his Osprey aircraft, and then they crash landed in North Africa. One of the guys was deleted. The other one is passed out, injured, and T'Challa is going to try to carry him across the desert of North Africa.
Exactly. So you got it right. That whole desert thing. In fact, they make like 3 pages of it. But anyway, let's go to the cover here. Very interesting, at least the top part of this cover, right?
Yep.
Always new characters, but then you're like, what in the heck is going on? There's a little Guido from Star Wars over there in the corner.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that his name?
Greedo.
Guido
would be like Italian. A euphemism for an Italian.
I did not mean to say that. Clip that. Do not clip that because I'll show that I did say that I didn't mean to say it like that.
I
So
know you didn't.
Greedo. I was trying to actually
Greedo.
say Greedo. Okay.
Mhm.
Right. And I'm part Italian anyway. So, but yeah,
And
no,
then
so
you
I did
have
retract that.
some kind of not quite Cylon, Bucktooth Cylon
Yeah, a couple
in
characters.
front of
1,
him.
2, 3, 4, and a rocket, couple of rockets or bullets flying around. And you know how I am. I like new characters. Well, at least I like the introduction of new characters. So it looks very promising here, right?
Then you have kind of like some kind of guided rocket slash bullets.
Yep.
Um,
Yeah.
Kind of questionable the range on these as they're very short. In anyway, I'm already sciencing my way into being skeptical on
Yeah.
those, but
Yeah.
the top
you-
half of this is really cool. Like I'm gonna buy it. Then you get to the bottom half of this, and
This is a
what
classic,
the
though.
hell?
JT, I'll tell you, this is like kind of like a classic old school introduction for teams. I've
Mhm.
seen this in some of the old. I'm not an expert. Everybody knows that, and I don't ever claim to be. If we had some of the other guys here, like Mark or Nick or our friend Clappy, he
Mhm.
could tell you this is kind of something they would have done, especially up in the top left corner for teams, right?
Yeah.
You would have like the Avengers. You'd have one little face posts of each one, right? If they
Yes.
chose to do that. So that's kind of and it's also a throwback to last week, if I think about it deeper,
Mhm.
right? Because they said it was going to be the Black Musketeers this week. And we know who they are. Those are the people we just talked about, plus the lady. The big lady.
Yeah. I just it looks
Yeah,
really
it
hokey.
doesn't it doesn't really need to be there. I think that's maybe what you're getting at. Is that
Yeah.
right? It doesn't need to be there.
The Black Musketeers, I just, to me, why are we bringing that into it? We can't call them like
It's
the Panther Musketeers or something. Like
it's
it
sticking
just,
to the Black Panther theme. I think it's unnecessary,
yeah.
but
I don't know.
I
The
thought
art's
of that,
hokey,
and I was
and
like, it's
that
hokey.
really
It's a little hokey, but the
messes with me.
the art part of it is not surprising to me at all. That's kind of like a thing, right?
Mhm.
When you're introducing a team, this is the way they do it back then.
Maybe I would have called them the Pumas, something like that. You know,
Well,
just this
there's
is
gonna
not a
be-
very catchy team name.
Yeah, it's a little the Musketeers thing, but they stick with it. I'll just let you know that more than
Okay.
you know, because I always ask you, or I try to remember, have you read this?
No. As always, no. So,
I
folks,
like
any
asking
predictions that come true are completely just me reading my crystal ball correctly
Right.
on this, and intuition that the Cylon toaster's black. So,
Well,
with that, would you like me to read the headliner for this week's
sure,
issue?
definitely.
Okay, here we
This
go.
coffee's going to kick in here in a minute.
With the sleekness of a jungle beast, the Prince of Wakanda stalks both the concrete of the city and the undergrowth of the veldt. For when danger lurks, he dons the garb of the savage cat from which he gains his name, the Black Panther.
Very nicely done. And I noticed here, I didn't notice that before. So you've edited and written, drawn by Kirby, right?
Yes.
Embellishment. Yeah.
I
weird.
need to like text Hungry Boy here and say, hey, Hungry Boy, what's the technical meaning of the role of embellisher?
Yeah. So Jack Kirby and them are getting little humor in here. Coloring. Okay. Ivan Vartanov. So I don't just put the Ivan in.
Off?
I guess he didn't have enough space. But dehydration. What?
Archie
What?
Goodwin.
Archie Goodwin. Dehydration? Is that inks? Goalkeeper did coloring. Embellishment is the inking. Print. It was funny. They were just being funny. It's an inside joke, I guess, because they're in the desert. We're supposed to catch on to these little things. And I guess they're like little Easter eggs and little funny things that people put in movies, sometimes on purpose, sometimes like having Pepsi cans and then like in an Alien or what was that? Or Alien or something movie. There was a Pepsi can or something sitting there. Star Wars. Oh, Star Wars. Was it part 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? What? I don't know. Something like that. There was a Star Wars can sitting there. Or, I mean, there was a Pepsi or Coke can. You get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But old boy is still carrying him through this ankle deep sand. And you get a little impending doom with the skeleton here. I kind of like this scene because then you're like, okay, he's in a little trouble here because he says there's no end to this sun-baked desert. So there you go, JT. He's straight up in the damn desert.
Yes, with no trails. I guess he just kind of knows which way is south and keep going that way.
Not at this point. He's like, I'm completely lost.
Yeah.
And I thought to myself, dude, being from Wakanda in Africa, you probably would have known better to go through there, having to carry this dude with you.
You probably should have gone north and gotten to the water.
Or go find a city and a mode of transportation, you know. But this is the plot, so we stick to it, right? Because that's what they did.
There is a Twilight Zone that is very similar to this, from where World War II bombers crash land. One crash lands in the desert.
Yeah,
I don't know if you remember that one.
Maybe, no. Man. That's a great show, though. The old school one, right? The old one.
Yes, the original.
Oh, there's a off topic. There's a funny show called Transylvanian Television. It's puppets, kind of like Snow Dub, right? What he does. And a couple people
thinking that, yeah.
In our boy 70s, Brian Jock McEwen or Jock McRock or whatever his character is. Have you seen him do that? Did you know that?
No.
Yeah. He does that. It's hilarious. So freaking funny. Anyway, so subscribe to 70s Rock Fair, everybody. Jock McEwen, something like that. It's freaking hilarious, dude. And I lost. Oh, so this Transylvania Television does a spinoff of Star Trek, or no, they do a little quick parody, but they also do a Twilight Zone parody, and it's hilarious. You know how the main guy, I can't think of his name, who's the host, the guy Rod Sterling.
Yes,
I got it right.
You got it. I got it
right.
No help from me.
Holy
you got
shit.
it.
I can't believe it. Well, you know how he talks where there's people around, right?
Right.
He'll stand there and he'll talk about the episode. There's like it's an introduction.
Yes.
Well, they do the thing where the puppet is Rod Sterling. And there's a guy, you know how the puppets bebop, right? They go like this. They're walking like that.
Yeah.
And the guy stops. And he's behind Rod Sterling. He starts looking at him. Hey, from behind.
Yeah.
Oh, damn it. And sorry, I forgot. I clicked out of the screen again. And he starts talking to Rod Sterling.
Nice.
And Sterling's like, he tells the taxi driver, you talking to me? Who are you talking to? Talking to you, man. You can see me? Oh, I gotta play that one, dude. I'm so off topic right now, but why that?
Well, we both had a lot of coffee before this, right? So
I'm just waiting for mine to kick in. I think it's starting to kick in right now because I'm starting to sweat a little bit too. But yeah, that's absolutely dropped it hilarious. I'll have to do a video on it or something. But somebody brought it up the other day, Transylvania Television. I was like, oh, I didn't know people even remembered that show. But anyway,
so we've got T'Challa faltering and starting to kind of collapse, and he can't go on, which you kind of knew. I mean, how far is anyone really going to be able to carry that kind of weight around without any food or water in the daylight, especially?
kind of the problem I have with. I understand he's going to have something up his sleeve, like old Abner Little. Let's not forget our boy Abner Little, right? Let's not forget him, because I think we've seen the last of him, unless we're wrong. I kind of miss the old little shithead, right? But not really. He came through at the very last second, but he was a real douche.
Well, I don't think he ever should have rescued this other guy or tried to.
He has to, though, because he's Black Panther. He can't.
Well,
he can't. Right? It's his code. I believe he wanted to, because he didn't sweat the other dude. Right?
mm-hmm.
He didn't sweat it very much. It wasn't like he was crying over the other guy. He just moved right on from that. Right?
Sure.
A pretty grotesque deletion for the most part. That's a bad way to go. Right?
Right.
What I have a problem with this is that I know, because I had read it tonight, but the whole thing of knowing that he would go into the desert with the character not knowing what's going to happen, without any water, without any transportation, it's just, it doesn't make any sense, right? I think he could have found a different plot line, because we know he's going to get, and something's going to happen, right?
Right.
And all we ever do is enjoying the comic and say, well, let's just see what happens. I just think it's kind of weird that Black Panther wouldn't just aimlessly walk into a desert carrying obviously probably 200 and some pound dude who he doesn't even like.
Right.
Actually loathes. But anyway, that's just my take on it. But it's interesting to say, okay, let's see what you got. And the art's, the art's good, right? Detailed. I don't see anything really, it's basic good stuff. But he likes to reiterate that this guy is a syndicate boss, right? He's a gangster. We went over the trope of it last week. We don't need to go over that again, because I accidentally did it tonight. But he calls him an albatross, so he's getting a little tired of dealing with this dude.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And you're right. Again, here he starts. I'm feeling a little woozy here.
Yes.
That's some Scream, everybody. If you haven't seen it, most of you probably have.
The other thing about this too is I just, the art's fine.
Yeah,
I don't
great.
get a sense of heat.
There you go. There's no sun. Where's the big blazing sun? Like, he's like doing this, right? I'm gonna screw this up again. With the sun, he's down on one knee and it's blazing down. And you're like,
yeah, we don't see any Oasis like rippling water vapor coming off the desert or anything, right?
Well, you figure that he's like gonna roll over or fall over a hill, and then there's an oasis right there, right?
Yeah.
Oh my god, that's kind of something you think would happen. So you get a good surprise here coming up. Although I'm still weirded out by the fact he would ever even do this, right? So he passes out almost. He mostly passes out face first. You could like this. The sand's all over his face. So it's not a great depiction of that, but it's kind of funny that he thought to do that, right?
Yep. And it looks like Tim posted, so he is now watching with us. So hey there, Tim.
Very nice.
FKHE 2005.
Very nice. Always. Thank you. And yeah, so Kirby thought. So these are those little detail things that I love Kirby for, right? He drew the sand on the guy's face because he's all sweaty and he plopped into it. Sand's all over him. Those are great details. But Panther goes into this kind of a delusional talking to himself thing here. I'm giving you kind of time to absorb it, right? Because I always got to remember.
He's kind of saying gobbledygook. He's like so beat down that he's starting to crawl in the desert, which I mean, you're basically done.
You're done
at that point.
I mean, you're like, that's it. You pretty much only have about half an hour for him.
Yeah,
he could probably go another half a day if he's just laying there, a day or two. because it's him. That's Black Panther. If it was me, it'd be done already.
Right.
Right. Well, I wouldn't even be able to carry that guy 100 yards.
I would just have said, forget it. But,
Yeah, well, I wouldn't have had a choice, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this is it. For a normal person, this is it.
And, right as he is just about to collapse, a sand person from Tatooine is right there.
Oh, shiny robot. Nice. Yeah. I'm like, okay. Wow. All right. We knew something was going to happen, like a dude on a camel or a donkey or something.
Right.
Or who knew? Right. So I was like, okay, bring it. Let's see what you got. Right. I kind of remembered some of this issue, but I forgot a lot of different things from reading this because it's been a while. Right.
Right.
About a year or so since I got these back. But we get shiny robot guy. And you're like, oh, okay. But meanwhile, I like that, right? That's a perfect time to switch frames. Perfect.
Yeah, it was perfect. I can't help but laugh at these uniforms because the shorts. The shorts.
I'm going
with
I'm
the high socks. Like the platform boots.
Boots and socks, right? The higher one dude's got the boot and the higher sock.
And of course the beret.
Gotta have the beret, dude.
Yeah.
Got to. Or the fuzzy hats, right? Sanda's. Remember Sandra's entrance?
Yes.
The red fuzzy hats. I love those things.
The beret is very popular in Africa. I don't know if shorts are popular in Africa.
Well,
I feel like you still want pants to keep the bugs from getting at you.
Yeah. It's to show off those legs, I guess. I don't know. I'm not looking. I'm just saying. So the one dude had some. I was kind of jealous. He had some pretty. I was like, damn, had legs like that.
Well, they're chasing him through the city, and they found him. And of course, now the military's finally got their super soakers.
Yeah, the last week he busted through the door and ran off into the jungle. Remember that? And the guy's like, "Oh, we couldn't flank him. We'll just follow his trail." But
and hail Phantom Outsider. Good to see you,
Phantom. Hey, Anton. Hello, guys. Glad I could stop in.
The fascination with the beret from military. I honestly don't know the history behind that piece of kit for the uniform.
Yeah, it doesn't have. It's from the French, right?
Yeah, it is.
But even like the French Foreign Legion had the tails on the back to keep that sun off the back of your neck. Remember that hat and a brim. So I don't know if a brace here is it's just for looks. It's not functional. In fact, I think I said you wouldn't even need a hat. It's hot as shit there, right? And most of your heat comes off your head.
Well, you would not want to get your scalp burned to shit. Is kind of the
that would be the only thing. And then I would want a bill and probably a French Foreign Legion hat. I bought one of those. It was a Ghostbusters one. Imagine having that still, man. I actually bought a French Foreign Legion Ghostbusters hat when I was a kid. It was great because I lived in Florida. I remember it when I was still living down here as a kid. But guess what else we get in this scene right here? I know you know what I'm going to say. It's not a monitor.
What else we get in this scene? We get plants.
You get the plant. The one, especially the one on the right.
Scene. Now, are these the acid super soakers?
Some of them, yes.
I think they are.
Yeah. Yes.
So they had like alien mouth acid in these things that basically dissolved through the bad guy in the last issue.
I hate to see what it would do to a human person. Right. It would melt you straight through, like melting face from Indiana Jones type stuff.
Right.
But yeah, you're right. They track the guy down, and they try to manhandle him. And it's a good idea because there's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Mm-hmm.
But I'd hate to be like the first 7 guys, right? Because here you go.
Now, this guy on the left has like some kind of trenching tool that he's going straight for this dude's neck.
I don't blame him. I don't
And
blame him at
it
all.
isn't going to work. I mean, just pow,
No.
you can just visualize these guys just getting flown off in one move.
With no nets, no nothing else, no like how they try to do dinosaurs or whatever. They shoot them in the leg with an arrow rope, and then they shoot them in the other leg with an arrow rope, you know. But nothing penetrates this dude anyway, so they just try to manhandle him. Giggity. Phrasing. So they get their ass kicked before they even use the acid guns again. So they gave him a chance.
Right.
I guess I like that. And then they tried to manhandle him, didn't work. So then they went to step 2, shoot him with the acid. You know
what I'm going to say about this too? He uses a half page for the whole battle.
Yeah.
With them, and a lot happens in 4 little pieces instead of 6 pages.
Yep.
Of biff and pow that you don't need.
He fits the chase, the jump, the smash, the acid, and the swoosh. Acid right in the face, right?
Right.
All in one side of a page, not even a whole. We count it as one page. It's one side, right?
Right.
Because when you only have 14 pages, 13 pages and something, right?
Yes. I did want to remark that this kind of looks like a Sten gun.
Oh.
From World War II era.
Well, they don't have the Nerf reservoir. There's not a little, remember the one that had that big teardrop reservoir underneath? They don't have it on this one. The little things, I guess. We don't sweat those.
Now the acid guns aren't going to work now either.
And they didn't.
So this dude is quickly turning into Gojira.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. It's getting kind of bad here and he's talking trash. I love it, right? Remember, we always talk about the bad guys love talking trash. And he's like,
oh, yeah.
I stand untouched by your every assault. It's the power of the unknown you face this day. It's classic, dude. I love it. Right? It's classic comics. And this one is really old school classic comics, but we get some weird stuff getting ready to come up. I know you can see part of it. But one of the henchmen fires back at him. Our people have faced it before and destroyed those who abused it. So the henchman gets his say. I like that too, right?
Yes. But
we get Batman. Oh, I mean, no. What? We get a car. What is this? You get a car?
Yeah.
Where'd that come from? Where'd the car come from? Didn't we talk about this like 2 issues ago? The transportation mode. They didn't have any transportation or a cell phone, but that guy had a radio. The page before, you noticed that, right?
Yeah. Holy hand grenade, Batman.
Yeah. Yeah. So this goes back to something you brought up maybe 2 issues ago about we don't see a lot of technology in Wakanda other than rifles.
Right.
So, and then we got the Second Amendment thing going on like 2-3 issues ago, right?
Indeed. With the well-regulated militia.
Yeah. And so I forget this bad guy's name. It'll come to
Phantom. Look, it's a deviant. Oh, wait, that's the other Kirby book.
It's the other Kirby book. I have the Inhumans too. Which I'm not liking, Phantom, but that's for another day.
Hey, buddy Hepburn. Good to see you.
Hepburn's here. Nice.
Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah, people rolling in.
Hello, everybody.
So just in time to see the not Batman in the not Batmobile going after the not Fantastic Four.
Yeah. Or the Red Hulk here.
Yeah.
But I like this purple guy because we know he came from the vibranium and all that stuff. So it's a totally different.
He's going to get to start clobbering. It's about time to start clobbering.
Yeah, you're going to get a couple clobberings. Well, you already clobbered those dudes, right?
Yeah.
But just thrown back a little bit where this technology came from. And I'm like, and they don't have a net for this guy? You know, or something like that. Because he's strong, but he's not like 20 feet tall just yet, right? You know what I mean? He's probably at what, 7, 8 feet?
He could
6, 7, 8
still
feet.
fit into a Viper somehow.
According to that other red purple guy. Yeah. Good one, JT. That's a good one. So yeah, this is one of the musketeers, right? And apparently he's driving a very cool Kirby car, classic Kirby, right? You can see the engines. Kanata. So that's Kanata. The ruling family has his own method of dealing with your kind. So they just love talking trash. It's great. I love it. And he just straight up rams his ass, JT.
Yeah.
Thumperoni, exactly. Oh man. And I'm like, all right. And they trade clown jokes at each other, but he calls him a devious dog. I'll crush you. They're like, all right.
He's got Mark D with the C's cow catchers on
Yeah,
the front.
and
He's ready to go.
And he flips him. He I don't know about flipping him, just running in, smashing him would have been better deal, right? Just
he would have he avoided all the kinetic energy of that mass moving at high speed at him because he gets tossed over.
Yep. And Jakara, that's right. Jakara is the purple dude. And he did try to overthrow the government. So a coup. So he's not a good guy here.
His favorite month is January.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So I guess this is old girl here. This is the lady one, obviously, because she said so. That's how I know. I'm not going to get into the other reason why.
On the left side, it's like they're going after his neck, like he's some kind of gator.
Yeah, and I thought, all right, you got some high. Yeah, that's what I thought. And then they did around the shoulders, and that's not going to work.
No,
that's not going to work. Not. He's too strong for that. Because what do you got, a Wonder Woman rope here? No, it's just. But you would think it's because it's a panther and all that. I mean, like the Panthers are going to jump on him now and hold him down, right?
Right.
And that might work. I'm like, oh, okay. But old girl says, wait, he's tearing my damn arms off. I'm like, whoa.
Yeah.
Okay.
These guys look like the bat folk from, what was it, the first Dark Knight movie where they all just get messed up.
Oh, God.
Trying to pretend to be Batman in the parking garage. You remember that scene? Yeah.
I'm trying to, because I'm getting confused with the Batman and all those guys at the end, but the different costumes. Yeah, I'm pretty sure you're right.
This is from like the first Dark Knight movie where they're fighting in the parking garage, and they start using guns and all this, and then
I don't wear a costume or something like that.
I don't wear hockey pads or something like that.
Yeah, I don't wear hockey pads. He's Stallone knockoff. But
right, and of course, what we think is going to happen happens.
Yeah, and he picks up the biggest of the Panthers, right?
Yep.
When I mean biggest, I mean just the heaviest.
Right, the most massive.
And don't get mad at me because they bring it up, and we're going to get into, hey, they wrote it here pretty soon. Right?
Yep.
You'll see what I'm getting at when I say heavy. That's foreshadowing. Yeah, he just picks her up like it's nothing, just throws her. And
so then they shoot pepper ball.
Is that like a fart gun?
No, that's like you're talking like mace, like bear mace.
Oh, well, I was watching Despicable Me the other day. I don't remember which one it is. Had the fart gun.
No, at this point, they're trying all their non-lethals on him. Like, he's detained. He's not free to go. And so out comes, the cuff thing isn't going to work. Now they're going to try the pepper spray.
Yeah,
So
and
the question is, are we going to get a taser
well, you
next?
would think something like that, like a heavy dose of electricity,
Mhm.
or something like a net, like a big net would come in. I'm surprised they just don't have a net, because like I think in the jungle they have animals, right? And they
Mhm.
either catch them with shooting them with arrows, spears, or guns, or drop traps, right? Or
Yep.
snares. They tried the snare, but you can always have a net, but that didn't work. But they were very clever here with what they did with Kirby. So old little guy, it was all a 1, 2, 3. Well, you're right. Again, it was a 1, 2, 3, 4 type of process,
Yep.
but they didn't try to overwhelm them with Panther power. It was like one and then another and then another, which that's a bad mistake.
Yeah.
And he says, the beating sounds of your cowardly hearts will guide me to you. That's so good, man. But I like what they did here. This is one of the few things
Gas
I've
him.
liked. Gas mask.
Mm-hmm. Did they ever try that on Godzilla at any point?
Well, the 54 one, they did the oxygenator, right? And did him in.
Okay.
Full on Fanty and Buddy would know this by heart. They know they more about Godzilla than I do. As far as gas, I'm pretty sure somewhere
Okay.
along the line. The only two movies I remember even watching outside of the first original 15, 16 of my Showa era
Mm-hmm.
would have been Beyonce, Hedera, and GMK, which I can't remember even watching that one. Destroya. I like the Destroya one. But anyway, so the gas mask was a clever trick here, and it works, JT.
Mm-hmm.
And then we get lots of shards here. Oh, crash. Look at all the shards. Right? And we get that sweeping. He likes to do a lot of that sweeping action movement drawing, yep. So you can get to see it. He's really good with that. When anything breaks, he never hesitates to shard something. Right. Or shank or a shard. You pick.
Shard.
Yep. It yeah, it worked. JD, what do you think about that? The gas mask knocked his ass right out.
Yeah, for now.
Yeah.
I think they're going to make the mistake that they don't neutralize the threat and dial down the oxygen to the point,
well,
here
we go again, going back to BSG. And what do we always talk about? There's a lack of security once they get the threat alleviated. And then what do they do with it? Remember they had old boy in the back of the helicopter?
Yes.
And they didn't tie him up and all that. Remember that?
Yep.
And then, that was 100%. Black Panther, wasn't it? Was that Black Panther? Yeah, it was Black Panther, early Black Panther. And then in BSG, we saw the same things, but because now you're kind of like, yeah, what are you going to do with him now, though?
Mm-hmm.
And then they just talk. They just talk about it. It seems impossible that we should have survived, but we did. Yay. And it was an act of madness. And it's like, you're right, but it worked. So they do congratulate. And old lady gives herself a pat on the back. Will encourage. They did have courage. I mean, they went after the guy, right? That's pretty cool. So they showed up. You got to give them credit for that, right? They showed up. The plan worked. Although I'm with you on this one with the car, man. Should have just rammed him. I mean,
right.
Because then he complains about the car here in a little bit.
Although he would have messed up his car.
If he would have rammed him, it would have been like driving your car into Hulk or Superman, right? Or Thor or a thing. Any of them. It would have just crushed the front end of your car, right?
Well, maybe. I mean, this is still an old 1970s car, so I mean, this is all steel.
It's a Wakanda tech car. It's probably got turbos in it, right?
Yeah.
So I would think that it would, and it did knock him on his ass, but they flipped him. They didn't really hit him anyway. So they do a little. They keep talking about how great they are. So that this one is like, okay, yeah, we get it. And then they do the all for one and one for all. JT, they're your musketeers.
Right.
I'm like, all right, Kirby, I get it. It's great, but like, is that what you were going for, man? I'd like to ask him that. Is that what you were going for? I mean, I don't really care, but it's kind of it's a little
lame.
It's a little bit. I get that he's trying to like, hey, look, we're great, all for one for all. It's like the whole musketeer thing is a little weird.
Yes.
So they do talkie here, and then we go back to the head dude, right? The head older guy.
Mm-hmm.
Administrative office. He's the administrator. Yeah, he governs. He's like a governor.
Buddy did get back to us.
Oh, about
the Godzilla. They used sleeping gas against Godzilla in King Kong versus Godzilla. Other than that, just the oxygen destroyer that I think you mentioned, and the other chemical-based weapons that don't work on him
against Godzilla in King Kong. That's right. I wouldn't have remembered that. I'd have to go back and watch that one.
And then Phantom says if they wanted to modernize the mask, they would have gas and blocked his vision by showing the new Snow White, which would soon be against the Geneva Convention. Yeah.
And then the thought that and I'm sorry I don't highlight these, but everybody knows I'm using the comic book and I have to go back and forth. So we try to read them as we go along.
Mm-hmm.
And because it's funny. They take the mask off and they don't regulate it. Did you notice that? Or did they don't put that on there? I might have said too much.
They don't put that on there.
Damn it. Okay. I said too much there, but because I wanted to wait. But we're back here with this administrative guy, the blue tunic dude. He looks like he could kick some ass, right? And I always thought, but they just got him doing gopher work,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they talk to him like he's part of the government.
Right.
And I'm like, why don't you just put a marshal badge on this dude? Let him go kick some ass. The dude looks like, you know what I mean? He looks looks bigger than the Panthers, the Musketeer guys. But old boy's complaining about funding. Did you catch on to that?
It was like almost like space taxes, like Phantom Menace level stuff, where we just had this action scene, and then they're like, meanwhile, in the paperwork area of Wakanda.
You're a rich as shit country, or at least it's supposed to be Wakanda, right?
Right.
And you got this rampaging monster. The worst thing, and he's complaining about the smoke guns and the chemicals. That's what they needed to try to get this guy down. What is he talking about here, JT? I just laughed like, what?
Costumes, smoke guns, chemical adhesive. I'm like, oh, so like $10,000 at most. Come on.
It's already built into the defense of rampaging monsters.
Yeah, they didn't send for those costumes to get custom made. Like, come on.
The Panthers already have their costumes.
Yeah.
Because they're Panthers. We've already established that.
Yeah. Oh, adhesive.
Just weird.
Oh my gosh. We had to pay for glue? How? This is outrageous.
Costumes and fart guns.
How dare they make us pay for glue?
It was just so not his character.
Right.
So I didn't like this. I'm gonna be honest with you. I was like, I don't know. This guy wouldn't be complaining. He'd be happy right now, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So it's not just me. All right. I think he'd be very happy right now that, hey, by the way, Ngasi, he's down and out.
Great. Now we can get back to making the economy go and engage in commerce again.
Yeah. The last thing this dude's worried about is paying for the stuff that took the guy out.
Yeah.
So totally out of character. But anyway, and he's thinking of T'Challa to come back. And he goes, well, see, apparently I get burned again because he doesn't really know yet that the guy is down. So this was kind of like a meanwhile he was complaining. But he tells them, we'd have had the news at this hour, Noble One, there's been fighting in the streets. Perhaps the militia has finally finished the car. So here again, Kirby kind of burned me a little bit, right?
Mm-hmm.
But he would have never been complaining about the weapons they're using to try to fight the guy in the first place. It wouldn't have happened anyway.
Right.
So it's kind of like a partial burn on me, but not really. But again, this guy here, I can't think of his name. The aide, AIDE, the walking plague must be stopped. Well, it poisoned the village, and vibranium has made him into a thing unnatural to this earth. We're like, yeah. But this guy's like, damage control, JT.
Right.
He's full on politician now. I'm like, oh, come on, man. He's not really like that, is he? Apparently he is. This is a Wakanda problem. We can't let this dude get out. We're like, yeah, no shit. Because if the world knew.
So why bitch about the expenses in the first place?
Thank you. There you go. Thank you. It was just weird.
Yeah.
And this guy apparently got in on the phone chain, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's so weird how these old comics but a lot of times follow along what we're doing in the real world these days, and it's not on purpose. You asked me this before, and I'm like, no, it's just coincidence. I would have told you, yeah, I did it, but no. This guy has access to all these secret information. Just put a marshal badge on him, all right? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But he's like, just go get me a coffee. I got to think. Yeah.
So then they're going to go to some Panther temple, I guess, is the way that we think of this. Yeah,
because what we can't forget is this is ingrained into everything they do, is the whole Panther cult, because that's what they called it, right?
Mm-hmm.
A cult.
Mm-hmm.
So everything is based on that. So this is perfectly to lore, to canon for Black Panther, right? At least in this series. Yeah, so you're right about that too. And I love the detail because there was a plant in the last frame. I won't go back. It's in there.
Right.
But I like it how he does. That's that big Panther statue from before. Remember that last week?
Mm-hmm.
We get to see it again, and we get to see some size and depth, which we haven't been getting a lot of lately, to show how large the city is and stuff. He hasn't really been doing that. And you can see them standing in front of that and see how large that statue is now.
Right.
Jiru, that's the guy's name. The helping guy, whatever his name is, Jiru.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, they go to the Panther statue, and they're all happy, and they're lots of talky here. But what have they not done? We just talked about a minute ago.
They haven't deleted the threat.
Yeah,
they've temporarily neutralized him, but you and I both know when they didn't lop off the head off of that thing that he's gonna get out.
Yeah, and Fantine. Yeah, you're right. Sorry, JT. I kind of derailed you there for a second. I was reading Fantine and chuckling and listening to you. Yeah, because it's a setup, but it's like, come on. We've seen this kind of thing before, not just from Kirby, and BSG as well. But I think there was something I wanted to bring up. No, not really. Just talky.
Okay.
They're all proud of themselves, right? Which is okay. I mean,
right.
So I can't think of the characters' names. The race car driver guy is complaining. He wants to get paid for his repairs on his car. He has a dent in his car.
Okay, dude, you're the royal family. Just take it to the body shop. Like,
take it to the body shop. Really?
Yeah.
Anyway,
I am annoyed with this batch of 4 already.
Yeah, I mean, the one good thing is they did step up to the plate, but then they kind of are Taro seems to be the only one who's not complaining, but he's not smart enough to tie this dude up or something. Right? Yeah, so this is why I did my letter grade, right? Remember?
Yep.
And I'll flash it. I'm like, how do I do it? Okay, you just have to trust me when you give it, then I'll show it immediately, right? So Ngase says it must be destroyed. So you got one guy on your team for this thing, right?
The sensible one.
Yeah, because he, 2 seconds later, he was worried about how to pay for it. Now he just wants to kill him. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. You can play research scientist after you've, destroyed the threat.
Save the Earth, right? Because they're talking about it. If he gets out, he could destroy the whole world, which is fine. It's a comic book. We love that. That's what we like. It's great. That part is. But
meanwhile, in the area that identifies as the Sudan,
so we actually get a geographical place.
Yeah.
It's not just the North Africa. It is Sudan. And you're like, wow, okay. And we get all these characters. There's Greedo.
I don't know how cool it was of a place back in the 70s, but today it's, Sudan and South Sudan have not exactly been the most
best places to be.
Congenial folks out there, let's just say. So, interesting choice of location. But this is the Upper Nile region. So if you're thinking of the small pyramids, the smaller Nile structures in that part, that's where they're probably thereabouts if you're going to think of Sudan. But you have Greedo. You have a couple other droids from Jabba's palace. You have Bucktooth Cylon. And you have Princess Leia. So let's see what we're going to have here.
They give him milk to drink.
Cold milk.
Yeah, cold milk. I guess because there's a refrigerator right there. A little yellow refrigerator.
Maybe.
And you're like, oh, so we get to meet all these characters again, right? Obviously, we knew that was going to happen. They saved him from certain demise, right? So Black Panther just got saved, completely saved, right?
What about the other guy? That's what I want to know. He makes
the tall robot, the purple one here, the Cylon guy, makes a comment that the other guy's dehydrated and wounded. So they make a comment about Scarpa. Is that his name?
Yeah.
Scarpa.
Yeah. Right, Betty. I am going to ask that question. Where the hell did she get this milk from? And
who knows? But are you ready for?
Yeah.
Are you ready for what they do here?
They bring in an American tourist.
And keep going.
Why don't you let him rest and get ready for the next scene? Oh, it's a movie set.
Yeah, it's a movie set, dude. That's why he's not in costume. And R2D2 opens up his hatch there.
Yep.
And director guy, and they're just trying to figure out who this dude is and all this kind of stuff. And just talking a little bit. He's like, get back to work and get ready.
So is Kirby making a direct line at Star Wars here? Because, it was released in theaters in 77 and this comic is from 77. So it would have definitely already filmed the desert.
I'm going to open up my copy of number 9 and let's do a fact check. Not against you, obviously. Just let's do a. This one made it into 78.
Oh, okay. So yeah, I definitely was joking about the Star Wars reference.
I'm down with that.
This is not a joke.
That's Greedo,
this is
it not?
Blatant Star Wars reference.
That's Greedo.
Yeah. If you scroll back up, that is totally Greedo. And R2D2. I don't know who the guy in the back is, but that's definitely Princess Leia.
And they're on the Indiana Jones set. which obviously is way before Indiana Jones. Not too far off, but
Right.
an interesting dialogue here, though. I did like this, that the director guy, he wants to talk to Black Panther in private about what my situation was obvious, and Panther immediately catches on to the fact that they know who Scarpa is, and I'm like,
Well,
I guess that Scarpa guy must be like world renowned,
he must be funding movies in Hollywood, like a certain other
and funding other
Italian
stuff.
gentleman that would like his nephew to be in a movie, and will let you know by sending gifts of the top of certain animals in your bed if you go a different direction.
Give an offer he can't refuse.
Exactly.
So Black Panther brings up Scarpa immediately, which is fine. Just move it along, right? And because pacing used to be Kirby's well known. I mean, I didn't say used to. Sorry, I didn't mean to say it like that. But we like him when he does really. His pacing is really good most of the time, a lot of the time. So yeah, they're talking about Scarpa here, and then the police gets brought up, and Panther's like, "The police, huh?" And you're like, "Uh-oh, Panther ain't gonna be hanging around too much longer, right, dude. He's still trying to get home, everybody, right? Let's not forget that. This is his only thing that he wants to do right now. He's done with everybody's BS. And every time, which is great for the comic, he gets sidetracked, right?
Right. And they're sitting here like it's modern day, and you have to like actually answer to a legitimate authority. You're just hanging out with a godfather. Come on.
Yeah, so this director knows that this dude is a godfather. So, what you said about referencing the actual movie is spot on. So the Scarpa guy is well known in the Hollywood people. But this guy's turning Panther in because of Scarpa. So that's a little odd, right? I don't know if that's a good idea that he should be doing that.
Yeah.
If he knows who he is, right? The director. So I've got the Godfather here, and I'm just gonna turn him into the cops.
We're just having fun.
What happened? Are we dragging this out?
He's saying, what does Dino De Laurentiis got to do with this? LOL. And I'm like, because the Godfather is financing this movie or something. That's how they know him.
Oh, you're right. And Buddy said that other guy is Robbie the robot.
Yeah.
And where did we get the milk from? Dino De Laurentiis. Nice.
So anyway.
Yeah, so
I think Dave, this is kind of like one of these movies where you like take a character from the past, you bring them into present time, and they don't understand what a movie is.
Yeah,
I don't know of a specific film with that, but it's familiar. That's what I feel like is going on here. Like T'Challa's a fictional character that got ripped out of a page of a book and got put into an actual modern situation, because he just says, you've created another world in the desert. It's fantastic. Okay, dude. Yeah. It's like plywood sets and shit. Like, I don't see how you could be so easily fooled.
Yeah,
being on set.
It's not like around, because we just said he's trying to get home because he's been away for a very long time. He's seen a lot of stuff, right?
Right.
Not just, I mean, if you want to go back to all the way to the Avengers. So, but this director makes a pretty bad mistake again and tells him, we've been instructed to keep you here. I'm like, good luck with that, dude.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm like, I'm thinking that's not going to go over well when I read this earlier today.
And he's impressed. Looking at this, I've never seen a more wretched hive of scum and villainy.
Yeah, and there's the Millennium Rocket.
Yes.
Which is a pretty good set piece here. I mean, it looks more technologically advanced than Wakanda.
Oh,
except
yeah.
for the car,
Oh, yeah.
which came out of nowhere, right? And he's telling them, yeah, you know, it looked like an alien terrain here. I said, you could make the back parking lot anywhere look like an alien terrain, but you wanted the natural design of the area, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And we know that people go on set locations, right?
Right.
So, like Lord of the Rings, they filmed all that down in mostly in New Zealand. So,
now here you go on to the next page. And George Lucas is over here saying, as you can see, we leaned heavily on costumes and specialized equipment.
yeah. But look what Panther says.
Well, he's like, transportation is what interests me the most. I'm trying to get to Alderaan. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We know it's getting ready to happen here, right? But I'm going to tell you, I was a little bit shocked at what he did. And I haven't shown it just yet. But we know he's not sticking around. He's not waiting for the damn popo. That ain't happening.
Right.
He's already referenced it several times. Yeah. Oh, this is pretty great. Oh, you have cars? Right?
Yeah.
And he literally tells that dude to his face. It's transportation that interests me most, Gerard. And as soon as I'm through inspecting that master console, I plan to be on my way. He's telling him, I'm leaving. And he's like, now you see here, you mustn't become difficult. And I'm like, uh-oh, this is going to go down, right?
Right.
And it did.
And it did. Right here, Black Panther is waving hello to the Austrian gentleman.
Oh, gosh. Hey, I saw that Senator, what's her name, do that the other day, too.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. He's waving to Elon, you know.
He attacks this poor guy at the console. He didn't even hit the director. I was like, what are you doing, T'Challa? You just like back judo chop.
And
this poor
dude's
somehow he can look instantly he's just sitting there.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you could have just grabbed him and thrown him by the seat of his pants over into the sand or something. Yeah, get out of the way, dude.
The other thing is he is impressed by this city, but then he instantly studies a complicated control panel for all the special effects. And he calls this his symphony in chaos. How does he know what it's going to do?
I don't know. I don't know. But I mean, he beats up this poor guy. It has nothing to do with it. Judo chops the shit out of him. And luckily for him, he didn't even put his mask on. We haven't seen that much often, really. Him fighting without his mask on. Because you would have thought, hey, Mr. Director, give me a sec. Let me put my little mask on. And then you're like, uh-oh, here we go. No, he didn't even do it this time. He just jacks this dude, blows up a bunch of shit.
So this is like legitimate criminal activity here by Black Panther.
Yes. He just...
It's felony destruction of property.
It's not his character to just...
a hate speech moment right there.
Innocent guy.
And then, endangering people's lives. That's assault with intent to do bodily harm.
It says every gadget on the movie set is soon triggered. I'm like, what? Everyone?
Every single one.
Wow. But I love the artwork and the gun.
That part is
movie,
cool.
Yeah, the movie set and all that. The details in the art are fine, great. You know, the action scenes and but it's funny and the writing's funny here. This wasn't written into the scene.
Yeah.
So I know we're being a little rough on it right now.
Yeah, we are, but
hey, this isn't his character to just blow up this whole set to grab a Jeep. He could have just walked over there and grabbed one. Give me the damn keys. I'm out. And drive off and leave old boy there because he doesn't like that dude anyway.
Right.
He's a bad guy. Very bad guy, apparently.
Yeah.
So he blows up the whole set.
Which is funny because some of the actors still don't know that the scene was cut.
Yeah, they're doing Tropic Thunder here.
Yeah, they are.
It's written in the set, guys.
Look on the right, and that's George Lucas there. But what do you think Kirby's going for right there?
This one with the guy in the red hat?
Yeah.
In the ensuing confusion, the motor pool. Move those jeeps before the slap. It's time to act as the Black Panther?
Now
it's time.
This comic predates the movie.
It does. This is the Indiana Jones airfield scene.
Or with the mine cart. But it looks like Indy, doesn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's too early for that by a couple years.
Yeah. And I didn't get the reference of him saying it's time to act. You just blew up the whole movie set. What do you mean time to act like one? But he does. He jumps right in like Indy jumps into the Jeep.
Mm-hmm.
But this predates Indy, right? So Kirby did it first here. Well, at least in this comic. I'm sure this has happened in many comics. Somebody, the good guy jumping into a Jeep, beating up the people or the car. But
he jumps in an old Willys,
which he could have just done initially, right?
Right.
Yeah. So I have a little bit of problem with Panther just blowing up the whole set and, like you said, putting a lot of people at danger here. I mean, he literally, JT, look at this Jeep up here. It's on fire.
Yes.
And it's literally
people got
exploded.
Hurt. People got really hurt.
So this isn't like Kirby to draw a Panther to do this, but there's a Panther's pissed now. I'm just going to say that. It does get brought up, okay? Just to help out a little bit. It doesn't excuse it, but we'll get to it. And this guy even says, hey, one of the actors, he's been driven bananas. Bananas. Yeah. And he goes, I am, gentlemen. You happen to be sitting in the vehicle I've chosen for my personal use. And he put the mask on without telling everybody.
Yeah.
Did you notice that?
Yeah.
Time to put the mask on. That's not his
But now he's going to have like international warrants for his arrest.
Yeah. Yeah. But I don't know if they ever got his name. Did he ever give his name up? So I think he can beat a hasty retreat out of here before the police show up. Not that he cares, because here's what I was getting at. These movie people can sustain a momentary setback in their schedule, but my life is a very different matter. My patience with a conspiring fate has finally reached the vanishing point. He don't give enough anymore.
Right.
So he blew up that set, which he still wouldn't have done it, I don't think. But Kirby explains it here that he has now finally reached the point that if it had been earlier, or if the scene with him and Abner Little in that helicopter, remember I thought he was just going to backhand him. He probably would have done it here, right? I mean, he just put a lot of people, he just blew up a whole movie set, right? With innocent people.
Yeah.
So
he did.
Now
not a very honorable way to do this.
No, all they had to do is just like toss the guy out of the Jeep and drive off. Right? Mm-hmm. Literally. Where's the Jeep at? Oh, there it is. See ya. Well, stop him. Poop. And then hit the director, not the other guy. I know I'm harping on it a little bit, but it's just not his character.
We just assume he has food, water, and extra gas cans.
Yeah, he's definitely at the point where he don't give a F, right? Mm-hmm. And JT, since things are blowing up like the Twilight Zone movie, said, ooh, Temple of Doom. Oh, Buddy says Temple of Doom was 84. Yeah, we knew this was way before. A la Quartermain. Nice.
Yeah.
Or League of Ordinary Gentlemen. Yeah, a lot of this action stuff has been around for a long, long time. I'm just kind of harping on the character and the morality of Black Panther. Even though he reached his boiling point here, I just can't see him blowing up a whole set, putting those people at risk. I really had a
Right.
problem with that, as you can tell, because I've said it like 5
Mhm.
times now. That's the coffee.
Then cut scene.
Yeah, well, yeah, he drives off saying it'll take a whole army to stop me. Okay, we get it now. But you finally get a little bit of a scenic scene, right? Driving way off into the desert here with the smoke, the sand coming out. It's those little details that I like about it, right?
Mhm.
He thought to make that sand cloud come up, right? On the Jeep there.
I think that's exhaust.
It could be exhaust or sand. I'm not sure. I thought it was it looks like exhaust or sand. But, just little details like that are always pretty cool. And then we go back to what you nailed on the head, dude. They got this guy on a stretcher, and Gossie's like, take him out, man. What are you doing?
Right.
To Itaro, but I'm a doctor, Chip.
Yeah. This is weak.
Uh,
Tell him to stand outside for a few minutes.
Even Junie's in on it. So this guy here, I'm like, why isn't Junie like a high level official at this point? He's not some damn helper. I mean, did we miss something about Junie 2-3 issues ago?
I don't know.
Anyway, let him live and we all die. And Taro's like, no, Jim, can't do that. Oh no, sorry, that was Scotty. But no, Jim, I'm a doctor, damn it. So Julie and Gassi even reflects the dude's, yeah, Drew was on my side, dude.
Mm-hmm.
So let's keep complaining about the monster who's going to destroy the whole Wakanda and then go out and rampage against the world. But do we even have some tie downs on this dude? No.
Oh, sure. Like plastic zips.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see.
That's it.
2 Crisis on Infinite Earth. Ooh, that would be something cool.
Buddy Hepburn's waiting for a nuclear explosion and a refrigerator.
Yeah, because we're still trying to figure out where she got that milk from. Right, buddy?
Yeah, that was... Anyway.
You can go there on my stream, dude. I'm not monetized.
I'm just thinking
care.
it's some
just
nasty ass goat or something
everybody in this chat knows what they can get away with and not get away with, right? For the most part. And it's funny as shit. And we love it when you guys are here. We love it. I think we all know what can be said on YouTube and what can't be said, especially in chats, right?
I was hoping no one was going to insinuate it was like her special variety or something. So
I think that's what we're all insinuating.
Oh, well, that's awkward.
But insinuation is cool because then I can just say, oh, I didn't mean it that way. I'm just gaslighting here. We know about that, right, JT?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, just a bit. Just a bit.
And Gassi's like, destroy him now. And I'm like, he's not going to do that, dude. And we officially know he's a doctor at this point, even though they kept saying it, right? So let's not miss that clarification here, right, guys?
Right.
He is now officially a doctor because he said it. I think he mentioned it before, but we don't know a doctor of what. Doctor Strange, Doctor Doom, Doctor
Chivago,
Doctor. Right? Dr. Detroit.
Yeah. Dr. Pepper.
Oh, nice one, dude. Ooh,
we're going to get on an airplane joke here and we're not going to get off. So let's keep moving.
I'm having fun. We're having fun tonight.
The whole thing here is the typical boilerplate discussion about ethics and morality. Do no harm versus a threat that poses imminent and critical threat to society, world. To the world at large.
To the world, yeah.
And, I don't know where you're supposed to, in your own personal journey in life, end up on the side of this. I'm going to go with the destruction side.
Yes.
And maximize saving life for that purpose.
And if you don't...
go ahead, sorry.
No. Keep going, sorry.
I was just going to say, I think they've proven they're unable to actually contain him, and let alone figure out a suitable punishment, which in this part of Wakanda, I think all the lives he's taken, he's probably facing um, the deletion seat anyway. Get what I mean? So why fight to keep this dude around? I don't think this is realistic. I
Well, they're
think he
not
would have
gonna.
neutralized the threat immediately.
They're not
And
gonna. Yeah, they're not gonna. They're not gonna go to the deletion penalty in a comic book from
Mhm.
'78 because this isn't that type of comic book. Even though we saw the one gangster burn up in a fire, right? We
Sure,
didn't see it. We
sure.
didn't see it.
And
It was
and so
off.
but they're not going to do that anyway. But
You're
that
right.
would likely be the punishment, even if they could. So what are we doing here?
Well,
What are we doing by
they want
keeping
us to talk about it,
him
and that's
alive?
why. Yeah, they
Ugh.
wanted us to debate it here, and it's a good angle if you wanted people to debate it. Uh, but I'm still hung up on the fact that he's not secured. They got him in a concrete room.
Yeah.
Now, is he? I would almost said something bad with gas and room,
Oh yeah.
but that would
The
have totally been an accident because what I meant to say is that's exactly what I meant to say in this scenario
Mhm.
because you can regulate it to not kill him. So clip that part, regulate it to not kill him, but at least contain him with it, right? He's not human
Right.
anymore. And if you're
My
not going
thing
to do
is
the other thing, you can at
you
least
you
use
could
the
do
one.
that.
Well, you can use the one thing that you know that works and limit it
For now. It works
for
for
now
now.
until they can figure out later, right? But they don't even do that. So obviously, we know what happens.
But it's an unpredictable creature, so of course, something is going to happen. My whole thing with that is okay. I think what if you manage to successfully contain him, he'll eventually just decay on his own before you're forced to come to any tough ethical decision about what to do, which is the cop out way of writing it.
Yeah.
I think that's what is probably going to happen in the end.
And pushing the plot forward is I don't really think back then people are analyzing it like we are now
Mm-hmm.
to that kind of degree, but still it's kind of like you just left him lay there.
Yeah.
He's gonna wake up.
Yeah.
And all you have him is some kind of room.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you think
Exactly.
happens? Not only does he wake up, he's also mutated to even something worse, which is what they wanted to do. So it's okay, right?
Yes.
But now he rises up and he has freaking lasers and sharks like lasers now.
Yeah. And he has no recollection of his past self or identity.
Yeah, so he has double arm beams of devastating effect vibranium energy forced through a small aperture that can produce shockwaves of quake-like proportion. Holy jeez.
Oh yeah.
So
oh yeah.
we undercut it. We undercut what he's going to get ready to do. Holy cow. Not
They
just
didn't spend any time on that, did they?
No. So they upgraded what I thought. I thought he was just going to wake up, be maybe bigger, and have more vibranium power. But wow.
I thought he would decay and fall apart in captivity.
Could have
But
done
that
that as
didn't
well.
obviously happen.
Could have been like War of the Worlds. He caught a cold and he dies.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yep.
Or he burnt out, but then he comes back even hard. He comes back hard, walk hard, and starts literally walking toward the mound. And you're like, uh-oh, that's literally the last place you would have wanted this guy going toward. Or it might do exactly what I just said. I don't know. I haven't read 10 yet. That he would have too much and burn out. Maybe. Like I said, I haven't read 10. I don't remember. Not what exactly happens to this guy. But he walks toward the mound and we'll have to wait and see.
Meanwhile, T'Challa on his Grand Theft Auto experience. He says, if I recall correctly in my guidebook that I remember, I don't know when he was reading that, the nearest town should be only minutes away. And then you see over his shoulder an F-4U Corsair naval aircraft is closing in on him. Fires the 50 caliber machine guns.
Yeah, and doesn't hit him, of course. But buddy, so we got a Doctor Who and a Dr. Love in the chat. Calling Dr. Love, what to call me in the Doctor Who. How did we miss that? The chat correct. That's great. Yeah, JT. So the Sudan Air Force, the Sudanese, sorry.
Yes.
Air Force shows up, like you said, right? But T'Challa does an okey doke on him. He's smart. He's smart like that, right? So you thought he would have ran or drove off and then somehow knocked the plane down or something like that, right?
Yes.
No, he gives up.
So now he's going to do the same thing again.
He's going to get into a plane and fly somewhere.
Okay.
I thought maybe you'd say that. I didn't really think you were going to say that until like a minute ago, or just like right before you said it. Just try to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
But he's finally going to get another mode of transportation. So he does the smart thing here and just says, "Oh, all right, just going to go ahead and get on board."
Sure.
So, how far did he get from the beginning of this comic?
Maybe 10 miles.
Yeah. I mean, he was carrying
miles.
Scarpa. Give him 20 because it's Black Panther. But carrying that dude in the heat with no water. He didn't get very far, did he?
No.
Yeah. Because he referenced earlier, I missed it, that he was going to walk during the nighttime because it's so hot. But what does he do?
Starts walking during the daytime.
Because it doesn't reference whether it is or not, but we say it is daytime. It's just some weird stuff in this issue. There was some funny stuff in it, but T'Challa comes home too late. Yeah, maybe. This world shall die. Let's see what the next. Oh, nope. There you go.
Oh.
There you get your sneak peek. I actually did too much on that one. But we already know because he's got to come home. And we know the only thing I liked about it was the guys walking toward the vibranium monster guy.
Yeah.
Right. And I am curious to see if my theory is correct. And like I said, I don't remember exactly what happens to that guy.
No.
It might be that I know just because I kind of remember it, but I'm honest about it. Like I don't really know, right?
Right. Work with me here. This world shall expire. This world, not the world.
Well, that's what I was referencing.
So I'm thinking something big happens in the next issue, and it's like the Genesis project where the old creation dies and a new one takes its place.
So like this, I've seen the cover, and you guys saw a brief glimpse, right? I just like doing that, but like I said, I'm kind of curious to see. I know we all know they fight, right? I mean, that's obvious. He's going to get home, and they go at it because that's that's what you have to do.
I think what ends up happening is T'Challa gets back, and they somehow end up defeating Purple Hulk. And,
well, eventually they're going to have to, but it's how.
And when that happens, they learn something about vibranium that allows them to harvest it. Yeah,
because I can't, Buddy, Phantom, Tim, and I probably would know when the shield comes into play for the Avengers, which would have been Fantastic 452. I think I got my numbers straight because I saw an auction that started at 53 on, and I couldn't afford it. Not right now.
Yeah, you'll never be able to afford everything out there.
I wanted the 52, right? But that would have jacked the price up probably another 1,000 because it was like in very fine condition. Well, I wouldn't have known what 52 is. 53 was in good condition, so it wasn't that valuable. So as you know, JT, that's the second time he showed up in Fantastic Four. And I would love to have my Jungle Action back. Damn, my voice. Sorry. Weird. Just cracked on me right then. But
weird.
I think I'm going to go back and get that Jungle Action if I can. But do you want me to show any more pictures or can I X out of this? We got the gist here, right?
You can X out if you like.
Okay. Yeah. So we had some, there we go. A little bit better. So Buddy has calling Dr. Love. And Tim, all the credit to you for the Doctor Who. How in the hell did we all miss that, man? You got that one. You and Buddy get the best Doctor ones. I got Dr. Detroit, though. And JT, you with Doctor, you had a good one.
Dr. Pepper.
Dr. Pepper. That one was a good one. Yeah. So we all chipped in tonight. And then somebody else had one too. I remember, right? Dr. Love, yep.
Yeah.
Oh, Buddy is saying some of the McFarlane Superman and Wonder Woman tomorrow. The figure sold out in 2 hours on a pre-order. Jeez. Wow. Yeah, I know which ones you're talking about. Well, the McFarlane series. If you knew that, right? JT McFarlane does all those action figures now. And I'll show my my Spawn. You've seen this one, right?
That's great.
Huge. Yeah, that's my gun. That's an original gunslinger, man. From I don't even know.
That thing is scary looking too.
I don't have, man. Let me.
That thing is pretty darn scary looking.
And he's got the green eyes and everything.
I
mean, it's huge, dude.
Huge.
You know what I mean? Yeah. It's badass, dude. I mean, it's total. It's a total. It's one of my favorite ones besides Godzilla. But other than that, and I showed this. I think Buddy saw parts of this the other day on my Spawn show. Go to show you, JT. Oh, it's gonna fall apart. Oh my god! Because it's not glued or fixed together. You want huge, dude. I can't even. It's got so many different parts.
If you can't do it, that's all right.
Yeah.
Oh, that's massive, man.
Yeah. And the hand, I got to get with either Sean Carter or somebody like that to help, or Mark. Like the hand goes in.
One of those two would definitely be able to tell you how to make that work. Got
some cool, I mean, stuff like that. But I'm really, really ADD anal about if there's cracks in something. You can see through it. It's the cape.
Right.
I can't deal with that, especially on a really kick-ass figure. I know. Phantom have seen.
I know phrasing. I walked right into it.
What happened? Did I miss it? Did I do it?
I said that's massive. Yeah.
Oh, there you go. Nice. Yeah. I mean, and there's so many parts to that. Here's like another part to it. In fact, there's like another piece of the cape. I don't think that I'm even going to put it. I think I'm going to cut it, but it's hard resin. So it's not easy to deal with. I think I even need like a soldering iron, like a mask and some air because I don't know what kind of toxic chemicals, you know, how Mark talks about. He has to have that ventilator and stuff when he's dealing with resin.
That stuff's important.
So, burning this stuff, I probably have to do that on the porch or something. Or I can just send this to somebody, have them do it. You know, if my Doge goes up. I don't have Doge, but I have other shit. So
I cashed all mine out, man. I bought low and sold high and doubled my money. And I was like, for gambling, that's pretty darn good.
I almost bought it at 15 cents the other day and it shot up in like the next 2 days. Then it went back down today.
Yeah,
So I think
that's
it went up
always.
to an 18 or 19,
Mhm.
and I have some of that money set aside because you know my situation. Most people do now. Not crying about it, just throw it out there sometimes. Like if I go buy something off of eBay, I have to sell something first,
Right.
right? Unless I can get something to justify a value that's always going to be worth it, right? Like
Hmm.
they were selling Spider-Man. Well, I showed you a couple of that. I showed you that one website. Um, they had Spider-Man 300 to 400, 200 to, or they had 301. So if you know 300 is like a key issue, JT,
Hmm.
for McFarlane. It's actually, is that McFarlane, guys? Is that the McFarlane Black Venom suit? The 300 ASM? I know it is, but I'm thinking is that McFarlane?
Oh,
No.
I don't know. I don't
Oh,
know.
I'm just kind of talking to myself. Sorry. Yeah. And then, it goes for a lot of money, right?
Right.
Especially if you have key issues in good condition. But all right, man. What do you think? What do you think about this one today?
Oh
We
boy.
went pretty quick, actually. It's only 1 hour 30, and we talked like 7-8 minutes ahead of time.
Yeah, and that's part of the problem here. Look, the art, there I have no problem with the art. I have no problem with the dialogue. I have you know, the characters themselves I think were true to form. Things like that I just didn't have a whole ton of an issue with. Well, never mind. T'Challa was not very true to form. Uh, the whole movie set blow up thing I thought was very non-characteristic of him, and he would have done the less violent approach right away. There was no
Yeah.
reason for him to be that violent. I think the
Yeah.
writing on this episode or on this issue was so weak that it was kind of disturbing to see us go from very high caliber stuff to this. I
Yeah.
give
Outside
this.
of a few jokes in the movie scene and a couple of all around, the writing was weird to me. It's
I mean,
just
it
not,
was
it
fun.
wasn't
Look,
true to form, like you
they
said.
they clearly were making fun of Star Wars or referencing Star Wars there, which I didn't mind. It was
Yeah,
cool, whatever. But the rest of it was annoying, uh, very cliched, and it points nonsensical or stupid. So if it were just the art and some of this other stuff, I'd give it an A. This unfortunately brings it down to a C. I really feel like T'Challa's getting home storyline is just getting run out far too long, just way far too long.
yeah. Oh, look at the chat with the Black Sheep Squadron reference.
Yeah,
Sweet.
yeah.
I'm old enough to remember that too, man.
I remember that show,
Yeah. And yeah, and
or was it a movie?
they had the
I've
TV
seen it.
show. They
Yeah,
had the TV
yeah.
show where it was God forgive
They
me because
well,
I
they've
can't
got at
remember the
least one of
island.
each.
They
Yeah.
were on the one of the islands, right? The landing strip there.
Hmm. Yeah.
And the
So
really tough dude actor was the head dude, right? The commander.
yeah. And look, my C for this comic is the lowest I've probably given this a comic
What
in
did you
this
say?
run so
What'd you
far. A
say?
C. I was thinking a low C at that. So you hit it right on the nose.
There you go. I knew it.
So
I had a feeling.
Dave's magic trick worked 100%. Like I picked the four clubs in my head at the start, and you picked it, Dave. So good work there. But this is not a terrible comic. It's just
No,
a
it's not
C,
terrible. It's a
and
C. It's a hard C, dude. It's
I would
just
have
not
been a
great.
little upset if I had bought this issue back when it came out because the quality was so high before this. And now we get, this goofy Black Musketeers group that apparently gets to make military decisions about what happens to the enemy and keeps them alive stupidly, not contained, and all this other nonsense. I just have real
Yeah, and
issues with some of that. And like I said, T'Challa's journey is, just it's getting strung out and it's getting old.
There you go. There you go. That one, that's why I went from a B to a C, because I knew that would be definitely one of your talking points. The other one, I knew I would lead into the security measures, because this is just a comic book, right? And everybody knows we love this. We love this comic book. Mm-hmm. But when it doesn't make sense, it's just weird, right? It's just weird when you like the guy bitching about the finances. I'm like, where in the F did that come from? Like, I was like, literally, when I read it tonight, I was like, I don't remember some of these things when I read it, because I never read these to review them. That's why I try to read them before the show, so I don't lose it or go overboard too much, like I did anyway tonight. But deservedly so, I think that that guy Nagasi complaining about the finances even before he knew, it just doesn't make sense. Why is he complaining about it? It just doesn't make any sense. I don't get it. I don't get the angle, right?
Right.
I liked new characters. I always like the introduction of new characters. It's just, what are you going to do with them? So the whole movie scene thing was something surprising. And then you blew up the whole set to get a Jeep, when all you had to do was, hey man, I'm out. Give me the damn keys. See ya. You just go grab the Jeep, drive off. Right. Mm-hmm. That made, I don't get it. Blowing up a whole set and putting people in danger. Didn't seem like a Kirby type of thing to do. And even though he did, and we brought this up many times, that Kirby kind of sets you up and then explains why something happened later. So I've been burned many, many times on that, right? But not on this one. I'm not giving him credit on this one. There's no reason to blow up that whole set. That's even T'Challa is, because now JT, he's got to make it home. And I think we do know that he is going to make it home next issue, probably.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
I mean, because he can't drag that out anymore. Because if he does, you're really going to be pissed. And not to say you're mad. You're not mad. We're not BSG 14 mad. We're not
right.
Even,
right.
We're not even the universe of BSG 14 mad.
Right.
Not even close.
They haven't insulted me yet.
No.
That issue of BSG insults the reader.
But he is flirting with Black Panther's moral character, even though he's done. He's pissed. Now I'm going to get home, and nothing's going to stop me, including blowing up. He just wanted to be on the other record saying it was justified. He was covering. Yeah, kickbacks. I'll say it. There is a little flirtation of insulting. It's getting close right there, right? When we've defended T'Challa's moral character so much that he didn't give a damn that the one gangster died. He's like, oh, well. And then he saves the other guy, literally he killing himself in the process. He would have died if it wasn't for the movie people, right?
Right.
So if you have that kind of high morality, which we've defended constantly, and we've only seen him shoot a gun like once to blow up, and we kind of questioned that, but it was to facilitate an escape because he had to do that, right? Because there was a bunch of samurai trying to kill him. Or was it the samurai? Yeah. And he didn't have to do any of that. She didn't have to do any of it. So comic license, audience license, just kind of was like out the window there. So it gets a C for me just for that. It's just weird. I didn't understand it because I love Black Panther, right? I mean, I love the character, and he does stick to his high morality. Because if he didn't, he would have backhand Abner Little, like I'm always wishing he had done, because that would have been hilarious. Shut up, back. You dog.
Right.
Because let's face it, Little threatened to kill him. Right. Yeah, and that was even after, and he still didn't jack that guy up. But yeah, C for me. I guess it sounds like I'm complaining. I was taken back a little bit about that whole blowing up. So I guess I was a little bit surprised.
We haven't
Not
really
shocked.
made fun of an issue like this since BSG.
Yeah, and this doesn't even come close to that nonsense. Well, 14 at least, 14. Right. And we're not even in the same universe as that. But it's flirting with a little bit of going against his character. And Kirby he still covered his tracks though with that one little quarter pane, right? I'm done with everything. I don't care anymore. I'm like, yeah, man, but that's not him. So it'll be interesting to see what'll happen next when he does fight the purple guy. Because I'm thinking the purple guy, he's not gonna make it. Right. Mm-hmm. Right. One way or the other, he's not gonna make it. But we shall see. Anyway, anywho, what you got going on the rest of the week as always?
Well, I may be hanging out with Dadman, maybe coming
Tomorrow?
Up later in the week here, although it is already almost Thursday. Friday night I'll be on Late Night Fortnite with Mark D with a C. And then Saturday I will be on the great Admiral Teague's channel for some Star Trek starting at 9:30 Eastern Saturday night. So should be a busy weekend. Looking to have some fun. And we'll be covering an episode out of season 2 of Star Trek Enterprise.
Nice. Very nice. Are we doing did you say Fortnite Friday? Maybe?
I believe so, yes.
Okay. I don't know if I'll make that. There's a slim chance I will be.
Unfortunately for Mark, his team lost. So we shouldn't be delaying start time this weekend anyway.
Like 1 a.m.
Right.
12:15 a.m. Yeah, because I kind of changed my plans. I wasn't going to be able to make that at all. So we'll see what happens because there's a slim chance I'll be gone.
Oh, Lisa will probably be there. You got to try to make it if Lisa's going to be
definitely. There. We love Lisa here.
Yes.
She's awesome. And where did I say? Somebody said there was a Kiss show. They're still rocking it in Vegas. Wow.
There's no makeup. Okay.
And I've seen them once in concert. And this was a while ago, probably about 10 years ago, with one of my Irish friends, James Daugherty. And he had never seen that kind of thing or that kind of concert before. And dude, his face was just lit up the whole time. He just stood there. It was like, my God.
And it's quite a production, isn't it?
Well, I'm talking where Paul Stanley was still flying around on trapeze wires and shit.
Oh, wow.
And Gene Simmons went to the top of the tower with a safety wire in the background. They were still doing shit like that.
Wow.
Fire, explosion, all kinds of shit.
Oh, it
was like
probably quite a show.
It is a show. Some people don't like Kiss, but I'm like, dude, if you want to, any of these people you don't like, sometimes it's kind of like, if you don't like them, don't go. I would never, I don't do that. Right. But if you're neutral and your buddy goes, man, I got Kiss. I don't know about now because now they're really freaking old, right? The Vegas
I don't know
okay
if they fall into that category, but they're definitely not spring chickens.
No, they can still stand there and jam though. Paul Stanley's, as far as I know, is in still pretty good shape. And the drummer, they've got, they can drum and stuff like that. And the bass, different people. I don't even know who their other two guys are these days.
Right.
But if you're neutral and you want to go see a show like 12 years ago, just go see Kiss. Get a good seat though, right? You never want to buy cheap seats in shows like that. It's just really, unless you're just dying to go see it and that's all you can get, like you're a fan.
Well,
but I saw a Van Halen
sometimes
show.
If you get into a smaller venue with these guys, they don't have the room to do a lot of the stage work, but they'll get out into the audience and do stuff too. Like I went to who was it? The Running with Scissors, Yankovic. Weird Al. Went to Weird Al right before COVID. And, it was probably in a 2,000-3,000 seat venue. It wasn't that large. But he had some of the Detroit Symphony Orchestra there, and you could see them. You were close, no matter where you sat, you could see them. But he walked. I was kind of right on the edge of the aisle there, in like the middle, and he walked right up. And I mean, I could have shook his hand if I wanted to. I got that close to Weird Al, so that's always pretty cool, right?
Yeah.
And dude has hair down to his feet still and can kick over his head. And I'm like, dude, you're 70 or something. Good on you, right? Yeah, buddy,
Yeah.
exactly. Weird
Yeah.
Al is really good live. As anyone goes at that age, you could tell a little bit, but barely at all, right? There's definitely some musicians that are clapped out at 70.
Yeah, I mean,
come on,
it's
guys.
70, and you got to be in shape to be out there. The sweat, the carrying around
Yeah.
a bass guitar or lead guitar, and then the singing, and even the
Mhm.
drummer. Geez, man, that's a workout, dude. There's not a lot of fat drummers, right?
Right.
And even Nico retired this year from Iron Maiden, right? So he
Mhm.
well, from touring,
Mhm.
he doesn't do the tours, and he's like, yeah, man, dude, at sooner point you got to give it up. Not like some people, won't get into politics, but yeah. So
Yeah, you can't spend 13 years past the end date on something.
Yeah,
So.
yeah. I mean, retirement age is retirement age.
Right.
So I guess we talk like term limits is one thing. If people keep voting you in, that's great. But if you get to, there has to be a certain point where you say you're in way past retirement. You're in retirement age. Or if you've done 30 years, but you were in like when you were 30, you're only 60, right?
Yeah.
So who's to say you can't keep doing it at 60, but you did 30? You know what I'm saying? There's got to be a give and take there somewhere. But as far as these rockers, I wanted to go see Scorpions, and they were supposed to have retired like 8-9 years ago. And I was like, damn, I missed them. And I was like, well, they'll come back. And then they kind of didn't. And then they did. Then they retired. And then they came back again. I was like, well, God, fuck, I keep missing them. Now I think they're on tour again. I'm like, I don't really want to know if I want to go see them now. But that singer is amazing, right? So if anybody out there knows about Scorpions, I mean, or have seen them. When I saw, was it a Farm Aid concert? No, it was some kind of other benefit concert when they were young, and they did one of their favorites, JT, right?
Okay.
And then they did this song that I think I might have heard it, but they did it live, and it was, my God, dude, it was kick ass, dude. And I was like, wow, those dudes can play some rock, dude. And with that being said, then I have tomorrow Spawn, 10 o'clock, not for kids.
Cool.
Cosme,
18 plus.
18 plus, Cosme watch party. And then that's about it. Hanging out with you guys. Maybe pop in on Saturday, and then maybe Geekery on Sunday with Mark D with a C. But other than that, the chat was on fire as always. FKHC 2005, Buddy Hepburn, Phantom Outsider, as always, and JT. Did I miss anybody? Did Dadman or anybody else pop in? Maybe.
Dadman popped in.
Early.
Yeah, he did.
And then we had like six or seven, I think, watching at one point. So
Sure.
anybody that I missed, as always,
and anyone on the rewatch too.
Yeah, we had a good time. Did harp on a few things, but deservedly so. I think we were fair because we're only trying to be honest on how we feel about it, right? And we'll see you with, shouldn't be any problem, next week, Wednesday at 9, right?
Yes. Sounds good.
And if it doesn't work, we'll let you know. So with that, we bid farewell and take care.
Good night.